I woke up at 5 a.m. every day for a year, and this is how. Now, this story starts off my freshman year in college. My sleep schedule was all over the place. I thought that the college experience was just staying up late, waking up late, skipping class sometimes, going out, all that kind of stuff. But then when I looked at where I wanted my life to go, I had to make a change. The one thing in common between Tim Cook, Mark Cuban, Jensen Huang, Steve Jobs, all these ultra successful people is that they wake up extremely early. So I figured if I want to be ultra successful, then I have to wake up early too. That's when I started waking up at 5 a.m. And once I did, I never looked back. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through how I turned myself into a morning person, why I did it in the first place, and then some tips that you can use if you're also trying to start waking up early. So how did I go from being a night owl to a morning person? When I first started waking up at 5 a.m., it was so hard. Every morning I would wake up feeling tired, groggy, I didn't have any energy, and I wasn't productive at all. And people don't really talk about how it impacts your social life. When you wake up early, it means you also have to go to bed early, which means you're not doing the late night things like going out with your friends or hanging out or staying up doing an assignment or whatever it might be. And this causes you to miss out on so many things. But I knew that where I wanted to go in my life, I had to do a complete 360 from where I was. This is when I learned the importance of creating a structured morning routine. And mine is pretty simple. Every morning when the alarm hits at 5 a.m., I wake up, I quickly make my bed, and I start getting ready. Now, getting ready for me means washing my face lightly, brushing my teeth, and then putting on clothes so that I can eventually head to the gym. A year ago, I would simply wake up, put on some clothes, and then start work right away. But what I noticed is that when I wake up and get my body moving, it gives me energy that carries me throughout the day. Once I get back from the gym, my morning routine pretty much continues. I'll shower, I'll deep clean my face, and then that sets me up to have a really productive day. Having a morning routine that's structured like this allows me to wake up and not really have to think about what I'm going to be doing. If you just wake up and you just start doing things and you don't really have a plan, then it's gonna turn your morning from being ultra productive to just like any other day. And it's helped me too, because when I'm tired, I don't wanna think. I don't wanna use my brain. Just having this routine, this regimen that I follow allows me to just kind of go on autopilot, and it makes everything else so much easier. I feel like it's the same thing with night routines too. I will wind down at pretty much like 7:30 or 8-ish. I'll take a shower, I'll rewash my face again, brush my teeth, and then I'm not looking at any of my devices until it's time to go to bed. Do I slip up sometimes? Of course. But I feel like the nights when I have the best sleep are the nights when I'm pulling out a book or I'm doing a million other things that don't involve blue light. Do I ever feel like I'm missing out when I go to bed early? And the answer is yes, 100%. I used to be a super social person. I would go out at night, I would hang out with friends, I would have tons of plans all the time. But now that I'm super strict on what I do at night, it can get lonely sometimes, and that's just real. With being productive and being your most productive self, it comes down to making a choice between whether or not you want to be super social or super productive. And to make sure that I'm getting to bed on time, I create an environment that produces sleep. So as you can see back there, I have blackout curtains, and I wish I had some in my bedroom, but this limits the amount of light that's coming into my space. I'll also follow the 3-2-1 rule, which is pretty much 3 hours before bed, I'm done eating. I've had my last meal at around 6 so that my body can digest. Scientifically, your body only does one thing at night. So if you just ate a big meal right before you go to sleep, then your body's gonna prioritize digestion and not recovery while you're sleeping. And that's why you have people who they'll eat a big meal before they go to sleep, they'll get their 8 hours, but they'll still wake up and feel like complete crap because their body didn't recover overnight. So 3 hours before bed, I'm not eating food. 2 hours before bed, I'm not drinking water. And 1 hour before bed, I'm limiting how much blue light I'm being exposed to. On top of that, I like to set my apartment temperature at around 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this is because I love having an environment that's super cold on the outside, so it draws me naturally to my bed at night. And this is how you create an environment that's conducive to having great sleep. So why did I start waking up at 5 a.m.? Well, honestly, it's because during college, I've always had 8 a.m.s or 8:30 a.m.s, and I've wanted to get work done before those classes every day. On top of that, I have goals outside of going to school. I knew that if I can maximize the 3 hours that I get before class, then I would set myself up to have an even more productive day. You can fact check me on this, but I read something that said it's scientifically proven that the morning hours are your most productive hours for most people. Not everyone. Now, some of you guys are night owls, and that's completely understandable. But I find it easier for myself to get into deep work and flow whenever I wake up early and I start working pretty early. And I'll be honest, from a vanity perspective, I feel good knowing that I'm getting up and getting after it while other people are sleeping. Like, it makes me feel good and it motivates me to want to keep going. And I don't know if that's crazy to say, but you know, at least I'm gonna admit it to you guys. It makes me feel good about myself. Do I recommend waking up at 5 a.m.? And the answer is yes and no. If you're somebody who has things that you want to get done before you're supposed to like go to work or go to school or go to whatever it might be, then I totally recommend it. I think it comes down to making a decision between if you want to have a majority social life or if you want to have a majority productive life. I'll be honest, there are times when, yes, it gets lonely because you're waking up early when most people are not up, and then you're also going to bed earlier too when most people are hanging out. So you don't have as much time as you would like to go grab food with a friend or just catch up and just, you know, randomly shoot the can. Like, you don't get that. But I think if it's a trade-off that you're willing to make for the goals that you have, then by all means go after it. But also, don't get me wrong, some people are naturally night owls. The most productive hours that you have throughout your day are at night because you're not being distracted, your brain is just wired a little bit differently, and you just have to know that for yourself. They call it a chronotype. And so there's no one size fits all for is 5 a.m. waking up really the best thing you can do, because it just depends on who you are. And I'm gonna break some beliefs real quick. Waking up at 5 a.m. does not make you more productive. It literally just shifts when you have those productive hours. We all have 16 hours in a day, and if I wake up at 5 and go to bed at 9, I still am using those same 16 hours that someone who's waking up at 10 and going to bed at, I don't know, 2 a.m. is getting. You know what I'm saying? So it like really doesn't matter what time you go to sleep. It's about the lifestyle that you want to have or when you want to have those most productive hours. So here are some quick tips that I would recommend if you want to start waking up early. These are the things that I did. They've worked wonders for me, and I hope they work wonders for you as well. Number one, plan your day the night before. Here's what I mean. Personally, I time block my calendar. This means I'm physically putting my tasks in my calendar, giving them time slots for me to work on them. This helps me stay organized because when I wake up, I don't want to have to think about what I'm going to be doing. I just want to get up and do it. So if you're waking up and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, that's just more decisions that you have to make. So if you can keep a notebook with your to-do list or a Notion dashboard or time blocking your calendar, these are all great ways that you can stay on top of things when you wake up. Also, I already talked about this, but follow the 3-2-1 rule. Literally, stop eating 3 hours before bed, stop drinking water 2 hours before bed, and limit as much blue light as possible 1 hour before bed. I recommend that everyone who wants to like maximize their sleep buy 2 things: blue light blockers and blackout curtains. I won't get into the science behind them, but basically, blue light inhibits the production of melatonin, which means that if we can block out that blue light, theoretically, we should also increase the production of melatonin. It's not scientifically backed, but I've been doing it for the last year and I've never gone back. Number 3, if you're going from someone who's waking up at like 10 a.m. to wanting to be an ultra morning person at like 4 or 5 a.m., do not just jump right into it. Now you can, but the issue is that first day or the first week, you're gonna be so incredibly tired. For most people, I recommend you just ease your way into it. So if you're waking up at 10 a.m. right now, maybe you push it to 8, then you push it to 7, then 6, but you're also adjusting your bedtime so you're going to bed a little bit earlier too. This ensures that you're not just gonna throw off your entire circadian rhythm and you're gonna stay consistent with it, because that's the most important part. If you cannot stay consistent with waking up at 5 a.m., do not do it. Just trust me. If you can't do it for at least a week, like just save yourself the heartache. Number 4, work out as early as you can in the morning. Personally, I like to do it as soon as I wake up. If I'm not going to the gym, I'm going on a run. If I'm not going on a run, I'm doing a walk outside. I'm doing something to get my body moving. If you've been waking up at 5 a.m. and you feel tired, I recommend you try it out. Once I started working out early in the morning, I never went back. Also, I want you to start drinking caffeine. I didn't start drinking coffee until I got to college, but now that I drink coffee and I know what it feels like to be super, super productive when you're caffeinated properly, I can tackle anything. In the first 4 hours of my day, I'm like a Super Saiyan. I'm so locked in, it's crazy. So if you wanna be your most productive self in the morning, I recommend you drink caffeine. Now, I have read some research that says the best and most optimal time for you to drink caffeine is about 90 minutes after you wake up. That's just rule of thumb. Obviously, it varies from person to person, but I usually follow it. And I don't ever drink coffee right when I wake up. I don't know. You can prove me wrong. I'm not a science guy, but it's just from my own personal experience. And then lastly, go to bed at latest 9 p.m. And the reason that I say that is because most of us need, 8 to 10 hours of sleep every single night. And if you're not getting that, not only are you shifting your circadian rhythm, so you're gonna be tired regardless, you're also not getting enough sleep. That's a recipe for disaster. So if you're going to wake up early, then also commit to going to bed early. And whatever you decide, just be consistent. If you try to go to bed at 11 and you wake up at 5, and then one day you wake up at 5, but then you go to bed at like 8 or 7, like it's never gonna work. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule if you can, and your body will thank you for it. Look, not everyone's going to be a morning person. I know that waking up at 5 a.m. just seems like the best time to wake up because everyone's doing it, but it really just comes down to who you are and what your lifestyle looks like and what you want to do. I wake up early so I can work. Other people wake up early so that they can go to the gym or work out. If you don't have a reason, don't do it. That's the real advice that I can give you. Waking up early does not unlock a different level of productivity. It really comes down on an individual human basis. But if you want to do it, try this out for about a week. Let me know how it goes. And as always, I'm rooting for you. Peace out.